Israel is frighteningly silent, and noticeably so. They point to a shared border with Syria, where Russian troops still help President Bashar Assad keep power. But for a country that lectures the rest of us about Palestinian aggression and expects worldwide support when attacked, Israel's silence is at best noticeable. We bring in Chris Hahn, host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, former advisor to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah? Why?
Yeah. Well, the whole lesson that we learned from the Holocaust is when there's a wholesale slaughter of an entire population going on, you have to stand up, you have to call it for what it is, that silence truly is complicity. And the Israelis said, well, the invasion's a bad thing, and then stepped back and said, we're going to just help from the sidelines.
Well, there are two complications here in international politics. And international diplomacy is one of the hardest, most difficult things to master, and I have not mastered it, I'll say that. But what I see here is two things. One, the Israelis have been a very important go-between between the West and the Russians. They may be the only real line of communication between the West and the Russians where there can be some back-channel conversations. So as a result of that, they may have been holding off on some of the more stiffer penalties going at the Russians. Two, you know, the West is relying on the Middle East and other Middle East partners that if they see Israel being too close with these partners, might back off in their attacks and in their condemnation and in their help to the West with petroleum products and other things in this coalition. So I see Israel serving a very important purpose right now, being the triangulation effect for the West and Russia. Israel is someone that they can both go to, they both trust, they both can talk to.
But I'm thinking about when
they have been kind of neutral.
I'm thinking about when Hamas is bombing Israel and sending rockets into Israel. Israel doesn't really like it when the United Arab Emirates or Qatar or anybody else plays that role. They demand that even the people who are playing the honest broker, quote unquote, condemn violence against their civilians. Why doesn't it work the other way?
Well, Israeli media has been condemning the violence. Voices in Israel. Israel has a very free press, a vibrant free press, I should say. And frankly, they have been very, very active in Israel in condemning the violence there. There's been a lot of protests in Israel, just as there has been here. So to see the Israeli government be a little bit more quiet, we need to understand that if international diplomacy was easy, this wouldn't be going on right now at all. And I do believe they play a key role. We've seen the prime minister, as you pointed out in your opening statement, go to Russia, talk to Putin. You know, if this gets resolved, they are going to be a big part of it.
No, and if they do, and if there's peace talks in Jerusalem or something that works, one can wonder whether or not you can believe anything the Russians are saying, but that's a different point. This is video from Ukraine of what's happening to the civilians there. These pictures look an awful lot like World War II if they were in black and white. But I'm thinking about the harboring of Russian assets and the allowing these oligarchs to fly their planes in and maybe dock their boats and hide money and the like. When does the responsibility shift in that Israel has to join the free world in confiscating these ill-gotten gains and not allowing Roman Abramovich to take the $2 billion he gets from selling Chelsea and stick it in an Israeli bank account?
Yeah, I hear you. Look, they're not going to be able to do that because Israel is still part of the international banking community, and the Russian money is not going to go to Israel in that regard. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult for the Russians to actually store real assets there. Somebody parking their boat, their plane going in and out of there. I don't know the details of that. I don't know what's going on. I do expect that there's a lot of international diplomacy being funneled through Israel right now, and that's a good thing for Israel, and it's a good thing for the world.
Certainly a good thing for Israel. Naftali Bennett's on the world stage in a way no Israeli prime minister ever has been. Chris, good conversation. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.